Never Rarely, Sometimes Always is currently on HBO Max, and I have to give you guys a shout out as Letterboxd followers. You guys are the best. I probably wouldn't have heard about this movie had I not seen a lot of positive reviews for this movie through the people I follow on Letterboxd. So thanks again, guys. You guys got me to actually look at the reviews as well as also, more importantly, look at the premise and say, you know what? I'm going to give this movie a go. So again, thank you very much. The movie is simple in its premise. It's about two characters, one in particular that's pregnant and the other one that's the friend, as they are coming to terms with what to do. Do they abort the baby? Do they keep it? And if they do keep it, are they themselves going to keep it or are they going to foster it? A lot of questions to ask, and some people might be frustrated by the fact that this movie doesn't give a lot of answers. But here's the thing. I think that the directing for this movie is great. And the reason why I say that is because this is something that from an outsider, obviously someone that doesn't have to deal with this, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, after watching this movie, it's more difficult than I thought going into this movie. I knew that this was a topic where it's like, I don't have an answer. I don't. And still, after watching the movie, I don't. But more so, I come to terms with even more so that this is not an easy decision. This is something that really puts into perspective by the way this movie is directed. You really feel like you're in the main character's shoes with saying like, what do I do, man? You know, like, and it's one of those things where there are other movies about, you know, abortion that I feel like are just so heavy-handed that it really misses the mark. I'm looking at You Unplanned, which came out in like 2018. It's a shame, really, because I feel like a movie like this that, you know, really hits home the way it does should get talked about more. I think that this is a movie that should be shown, honestly, in like health classes because it has this rawness about it, man. It really does. Like, from the way it's directed, as I already mentioned, to the way the dialogue's executed by the actresses, it really gives in perspective this whole slice of life moment, this moment in time for this teenager, and with the decisions how she's going to basically face, and it's going to have a ripple effect of whatever she makes a decision of, it's going to affect her life from there on onwards. And that's something that I just can't help but think about. It's a thinking movie, and that's something, as I mentioned in other reviews, I like. This movie got me to think. It got my brainwaves on while watching the movie, and that's something that is admirable. I also really have to say, acting, again, is strong. Chemistry by the two leads, on point. The ending is something that I thought was good, for sure. And I like the naturalistic cinematography. Again, it looks like there wasn't really any color grading. If there was, it was probably to desaturate the movie, but it looks like something that is supposed to be like a fly on the wall type situation. And I think that adds even more to the whole in your character's shoes kind of perspective of slice of life. And it works. Now, I will say, I think this movie is well crafted for sure, but I do have some issues. For one, I do think that although I appreciate mostly the slice of life filmmaking style, I do think that there are some scenes that kind of falter in terms of interest. Like when there's this one guy that comes into the mix. It just, that whole thing, I just kind of thought it almost like went into nowhere. Like, I get it at the end, like when you know, with what happens, I get that it's kind of important. But I just thought overall, it just kind of dragged things down. Maybe that will change, you know, when I rewatch it. But, you know, that whole scenario just kind of dragged it down. I also think that as thought-provoking this movie is, I do kind of wish that it did have more meat to it. It's a very simplistic tale. It's just a simplistic tale that's done very well. And I gotta say, it's very admirable for that. Again, I wish that there was more for me to, like, nourish other than the themes and messages. But, you know, for what it's going for, I think that it's very effective at delving the messages and themes that it did. And props to the filmmaker, honestly. I think they did a great job with that aspect. And for me personally, overall, you know, despite some negatives, I will be giving this movie nonetheless a 3.5 to 5-star rating, which feels like a hot sauce rating. It's the good old Texas Speed hot sauce. It's a solid movie, and it does, you know, the topic, you know, a real justice. This is a movie that should be shown in health classes. This is a movie that, you know, is a great tool that can be used. Especially about, you know, safe sex and also just in general about this topic. Because I think that, especially in the classroom setting, I think that there's that discussion that needs to be had. And oftentimes, you know, you have these like terrible videos that they'll show, but you have this movie that is done by HBO Max and can now be shown. It's literally something that's tailor-made for health class. Use it. Please, use it. It's worth it. But yeah, guys, Never Rarely, Sometimes Always. Yeah, I liked it. Overall, I would definitely say watch it. If you, for some reason, didn't like the movie, definitely curious to hear your thoughts down below. If you liked the movie, also curious to hear your thoughts down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and follow me on Letterboxd. And I will catch you guys later.